Hello and welcome to Crypto Exposed. XRP to explode? Ripple partner Persist vows to usher in more developers, investors and banks to XRPL. Now that's what I'm talking about. Okay guys, love to see it, man, love to see it. This is what we need, developers specifically, because I'm sure you guys are aware there was something that Blockchain Backer put out a little while back now, and it was in regards to like developer activity. And I'll be honest with you guys, because I always keep it real, never trying to lie to you guys, the XRP ledger didn't have a lot of developers on there. You know, it was one of the lower networks in regards to developer activity. Now, if I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not surprised about that, and the reason simply being is that XRP is really built for payments, so it doesn't really have smart contract functionality, and that's something that with developers, it's a useful tool if you want to create dApps. Like, it is something that you would want, so I can understand that unless, you know, you're really trying to make something more specific, or, you know, you're probably going to go to a network that's a bit more tailored with smart contract functionality. So I definitely can understand like where there's that kind of little chink in the armor in that sense. But that's not to say that XRP still can't be used in other ways. And we also know that there's the EVM that's looking to be implemented. And, you know, with that comes smart contract functionality. So that is something that will be available. And so developers specifically is important because developers can create dApps and use cases for XRP that will bring value to the network. So they're a vital part of this. So that's great to see. Investors and banks, obviously that's also great, but we also know that Ripple are already, you know, in talks with a lot of banks and central banks in terms of like CBDCs and ODL/Ripple payments. So we know that that kind of stuff is already kind of there, but hey, the more the merrier, right? We obviously need everything we can to build up as much value that we can for the XRP ledger, because that's what's going to bring value to XRP. So this is all great stuff to see. Can these guys do this? Hey, why not? They sound very determined, and Ripple and XRP, it's a great crypto. It is. It's a great network. So let's not take anything away from this. Like, I'm never trying to knock XRP because I'm invested in XRP. So I believe in XRP long term, 100%. But we have to just acknowledge like the flaws at times, right? Because if you want to be realistic and make sure that you're getting the most of your investment, you want to know the pros and the cons. So I understand why this is a bit of an issue in terms of getting developers, but I think, you know, there's definitely room for this network to grow. And I think, you know, with a company out here trying to advocate to get more developers, investors, banks, etc., that can be great for XRP, because a lot of these developers as well, and, you know, like, I think some of the problem with XRP is there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I do think that causes a bit of a grey area, and that can cause problems because they're not exactly sure what is accurate and what is, you know, correct information, which, you know, is confusing. And so that can cause people to not want to deal with XRP. You know, that can also cause a problem as well. So having a company who's going to be willing to go out there and, you know, really advocate for the XRP ledger and, you know, make this conscious effort. Yeah, I'm all for this, man. I think this is going to be great. And I really think this is something that could help XRP explode. So definitely looking forward to seeing what's going to be said here. So let's get into the article and then we can discuss this a little bit further. Ripple partner Persist has vowed to usher in more demand, users, developers, investors, and banks to the XRP ecosystem via the much anticipated EVM sidechain. The disclosure came from Persist's CEO, Farhan Pratt, during a recent interview with Tokyo-based prominent XRP community figure, Eri. XRP lagging behind 2024 standard. During the interview, Pratt expressed dissatisfaction with the current state of the XRP ecosystem. He highlighted that there are roughly 700 EVMs in existence, and XRPL is the most prominent project lacking EVM support. Pratt underscored that XRPL primarily focuses on payments, which he acknowledged as blockchain technology's most crucial and optimal use case. Yet, according to him, the absence of EVM connectivity poses a substantial bottleneck to XRPL's growth and interoperability with other chains. In particular, Pratt lamented that XRPL's lack of EVM support has led to its isolation from the industry's current standards. He pointed out that fewer developers choose XRPL over time due to limited opportunities for building businesses or solutions on the ledger compared to EVM-compatible platforms. He emphasized that the EVM ecosystem offers a larger community, user base, developer pool, and market capitalization, which continue to expand, contrasting with the more restricted growth potential of XRPL. Quote, "I think it's a huge mistake for XRPL not to have at least compatibility with this huge ecosystem," unquote, Pratt submitted. Meanwhile, the Persist CEO clarified that adopting EVM does not imply that XRPL should relinquish its focus on payments. Instead, he stated that since XRPL has established itself within the payment landscape, it should integrate additional utilities to enhance its appeal within the broader crypto ecosystem. Persist's solution. Based on this premise, Pratt noted that Persist intends to attract numerous builders, users, and investors to the XRPL sphere. Per the disclosure, this influx would increase demand for XRP to execute contracts as it would involve more users in the ecosystem. Consequently, this increased involvement would generate interest in other features within Layer 1 and enable cross-chain functionality. Ultimately, the goal is to expand the ecosystem and position it at the forefront of blockchain technology standards in 2024. Team to pay with XRP. It is worth noting that although operating as an independent network, the sidechain will utilize XRP as its native token. As the Crypto Basic recently reported, validators on the XRPL EVM sidechain will be compensated in XRP. Specifically, the network will accrue gas fees in XRP, but rather than burning the fees, as with the XRPL, these fees will be allocated to validators. Overall, the goal of these initiatives lies in increasing the adoption of XRP and broadening the asset's appeal to the public. Okay. Yeah, I love it. I really do. I love it because, as I was saying earlier, as you can see, a lot of the things that Pratt is saying is what I've said, right? We understand that XRP is really a focused, a payments focused network. We get that. And I can understand why Ripple are apprehensive about wanting to mess with the network and mess with the ledger, because if it's really suited for payments and that's what they're really trying to, make its main use case for XRP as a bridge currency, I understand them worrying about putting too much things on the ledger and then bogging down the network, because that will destroy its main use case. So I do understand the apprehension on Ripple's behalf. But at the same time, if we're talking about network growth and stuff like that, I can understand why other builders, because, Ripple aren't the only developers on the XRP ledger. And that's what you've got to understand. Like, yes, Ripple are the main developers. They're the biggest, but there's other people wanting to create on the ledger too. And that's why we had the whole thing with Zahao and the whole smart contracts issue. That's why they created the Zahao network, because they were trying to get smart contracts enabled and it just wasn't happening. So they decided to just fork the ledger and create their own network. So I completely do understand this, and I can see both sides of the fence here. Like, I really can see both arguments. But I do think this is something that will really help with XRP. And I would like to think that if these guys are going to try and implement like EVM and stuff like that, I would like to think that they're going to try and do it in the safest way possible, because they want to add value to the XRP ledger, because it's going to help them as well, because I'm sure these guys are XRP holders, right? So they're going to want this to do well. I don't think they're just going to go in with like a, like a bull in the china shop kind of thing, just going and just doing what they want, and whatever happens is whatever happens. I'm sure they're going to try and do this in the safest way possible, because they're trying to add value to the network ultimately, right? They're not trying to destroy the network. They want to add value to it. So I would like to think that they're going to do this in the most cautious way possible. But I do think this is something that will greatly aid with adoption. I do agree, because I did see that document that the blockchain backer put out, and it wasn't great in terms of developer activity. So I have to be honest and acknowledge that. So if we can start getting things where we've got EVM on there, smart contracts enabled, that kind of stuff, like it is going to ultimately help getting more developers on the network, because the network is great. It's not that it's a bad network, it's just that it's very payments focused. And so it's all about trying to balance this, right? Where we can still have it payments focused, but still having other features that will make developers want to work on the XRP ledger. The last thing I'll just finish off with, in regards to paying validators with XRP, I think this is a great idea. I did a video not long ago where we was talking about validators kind of leaving the XRP ledger because they was getting a bit frustrated with Ripple. I think this was more of a misunderstanding than anything, but the point still remained that these validators who are on the XRP ledger, that they're not being paid. And the thing with that is it takes away the incentive. And so I can see it from both sides, because when there's a money incentive, like David Schwartz has said, no incentive is the best incentive. I definitely understand that point 100%. But the problem with that is when there's no incentive there, it's hard to keep them loyal to want to do what they're doing, because a lot of the times when there's like no incentive, i.e. you're not getting no money, it might potentially be costing you money or costing you time, which, to be honest with you, probably even more valuable, because time's something that we can't get back. Money you can go and get a job and earn on a reoccurring basis, but time we can't get back. So if you're spending all this time to, looking after the network and you're not really being compensated for it, I can understand how a lot of people will get frustrated and then think, well, this just isn't worth my time, and, give up. I can completely see how that can occur. So giving people that financial incentive, while I do understand that it could make people susceptible to doing, like shady things, ultimately, if they're making money, really, they shouldn't want to do anything to, they shouldn't want to do anything nefarious, right? Because this is what's making them money. And so realistically, it's like, why bite the hand that feeds you? So if you're a validator and you're, making a good bit of money by being a validator in XRP, why would you want to ruin that, right? So I would like to think that that wouldn't really make too much of an impact ultimately. And I think the thing is, we need to give this a go at this point, right? Like, if we look at how things have been, and not saying that it's not worked, but it's not been as successful as you would hope, try a different way. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with trying something different, because this might be wildly successful. And if that's the case, then hey, go with what works, So for me, I think this is a good idea. Like, I look at Ethereum, which is, it is a thing where they have a paid incentive to be validators. And I'm not saying that this is the only reason why Ethereum's wildly successful, but Ethereum is successful and validators are there and are happy being on the network. So I think that could be the same thing for XRP, But yeah, I don't want to make it like that's the only reason why Ethereum's successful, because there's other factors at play, and we all know about ETHgate, so I think that played a huge part in that. But, let's not get into that conversation right now. But yeah, overall, this is real great stuff to see. I think this could be hugely positive for XRP. And, hopefully this guy is, as determined as he seems. Hopefully he can really make an impact and really bring some real development to the ledger, because I think that would be hugely beneficial. So I look forward to seeing what's going to happen here. But what do you guys think? P-Assist helping XRP explode with more developers, investors, and banks coming to the XRP ecosystem. Do you like the sound of this? Do you think P-Assist would be successful in getting these people and companies to the XRP ecosystem? Do you think that this would be good for XRP's price? Or do you not agree with this? Do you not think P-Assist would be successful in bringing people or companies to the XRP ecosystem? Or do you just not think that this would be good for XRP's price overall long term? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.